We are going to start with the OCA update. So Dr. Sabo, I will turn it over to you.
Thank you. Good morning, colleagues and Cass. So first of all, our workers' compensation bill, which was introduced last session, didn't make it across the finish line, but we have a wonderful freshman legislator, chiropractic patient. Her whole family is. In fact, we're having an event for her later today. Representative Leslie Manos from Woodburn area, House District 22, is going to spend one of only two of her placeholders to reintroduce our bill. We have 15 other legislators, R's and D's, all committed to coming on as co-sponsors during the short 35-day legislative session. And again, that will return full attending physician status chiropractic physicians. The Management Labor Advisory Committee convened a subcommittee on access to care, and I've been giving input on that, as well as the full AMLAC committee meetings and presenting evidence-based rationale for why adding chiropractic physicians as full attending physician status to life of the claim would benefit workers and the insurers. And I'm meeting with legislators on the Senate and House committees that would hear that bill, and will continue to do so. So Senate Bill 822, which was Governor Kotek's network adequacy bill. Again, this is very, very critical for us. It is a continuation of the network adequacy bill that was passed. I worked on the work session for 8 months. We worked on it, and it applies all of our provider non-discrimination language, which is found in the Accountable Care Act, Obamacare, which became Section 2706 of federal law, inserted that into of commercial health insurers, but it only applied to individual and small group plans. Senate Bill 822 will, with some exceptions, will apply to all group plans. The issue, of course, has been enforcement. And so we had a couple of very strategic floor speeches by my senator, Senator Gelzer, Senator Sarah Gelzer, and on the House side, Representative Travis Nelson. Great people. Both of them were co-sponsors of our bill, and they specifically focused on the legislative intent and meaning of varying reimbursement rates based on quality or performance measures. The intent, of course, is, which they spell out, is by contract, by any means, an insurer cannot, or carrier cannot, discriminate against any healthcare provider, including chiropractic physicians, as it relates to reimbursement. And the intent was payment parity. So in other words, out of the gate, if it's a covered health benefit, we as chiropractic physicians provide it. It's within our scope. Out of the gate, that insurer, straight up or by contract, cannot pay us less than another type of provider, for example, an osteopathic physician, medical physician, for that same covered service. However, they can vary reimbursement only based on quality or performance measures, outcomes. And so if we do a better job, or another provider does a better job based on outcome matrix, then we can be paid more or get an MVA bonus. Or if we do a crappy job based on the outcomes, we can be bounced from the network. But out of the gate, you cannot pay one provider less than another for the same covered service if it's within their scope and license to provide. And the two members of the legislature did a great job of referring to that. Now, the reason why we did that is if we have to enter into, and I'm not going to go into details, but doing this now, setting things up, legal action because it's not implemented or continues to be violated. Those floor speeches, Legislative Council tell me, are very instrumental. On a national level, our Medicare Modernization Act which would redefine chiropractic physicians as physicians in federal law, which is hugely strategic. Now has 106 members of Congress signed on as co-sponsors. I have 3 members that I'm working on. Suzanne Bonamici, known her for years. It's just a matter of getting through the layers of staff and getting her on. New member, Maxine Dexter, a medical physician, and then we have one new member that took the Republican seat, 5th. Oh my gosh, I can't think of her name. Anyway, so I'm working on those. It's looking great. We're ahead of schedule with the numbers of co-sponsors. And the last issue my board asked me to discuss is we have concerns that we'd like to voice respectfully, that we're getting, the association is getting questions about scope of practice bounced to us rather than the OBCE fielding that question regarding if this, that, or the other thing is within the scope of practice of the chiropractic physician. We're being told, and I haven't experienced this, that the OBCE is bouncing that back to the Oregon Chiropractic Association to field those questions, and we feel that it's more appropriate for the board to answer scope of practice issues. We'd like your feedback on, is that accurate? That's what I'm being told. So that's my report.
Hi, Vern. I'll actually address that piece as far as the scope of practice. I know there's been a question or two that have been asked of staff, and there was a little bit of confusion with regard to what was being asked and answered, and so there's been clarification around that. But I agree with you that we should be answering those as best we can. We also can't give legal advice, and so that's often the response as well, is this is something that you need to get legal independent counsel on. So it all depends on the question itself. As far as kind of, lobbying and fostering the practice, we provide them your information and let folks go that way. But as far as that goes, yeah, I mean, we've had maybe 1 or 2 questions that have been referred back.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, thank you so much. Any questions for Dr. Sabo? All right.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Thanks, Vern.
So that is actually the last thing on our public agenda. So we're going to head into executive session to finish that. Unless I missed anything. Okay, so I will read. The Oregon Board of Chiropractic Examiners will now meet in executive session to consider information or records that are exempt from public inspection, including advice from legal counsel, and to consider information obtained as part of an investigation into licensee or applicant conduct. This executive session is held pursuant to ORS 192.660L, ORS 192.6602, F and L, ORS 678.126, ORS 676.165, and ORS 676.175L. Members of the news media may remain during executive session but are directed not to report on, record, or otherwise disclose any of the deliberations or information discussed during the executive session. If you are a member of the public, attendees attending through Microsoft Teams will now be removed from the virtual room, and audience members attending in person are asked to leave the room for the duration of executive session. At the end of executive session, the board will return to public session for the purpose of taking formal action on matters discussed in executive session. While the board is in public session, the public video stream will be available. If there are any questions about whether the board remains in executive session, you may contact info@obce.oregon.gov.
I'm going to stop the recording.